Desert Island Discs.
This is Desert Island Discs, your number one personality profile program. Tonight on the program, we are privileged to have with us the President of Rotary International, His Excellency Shekhar Mehta. He's visiting Uganda as one part of his tour of duty. But how privileged we are as a country that the President of the Rotary International is right in our midst. This is a man whose stature is larger than life, whose life story transcends travesty, success, and everything in between. Tonight, we have the pleasure of listening to his life story. Welcome to the program, Mr. President.
Thank you, Simon. It's my pleasure absolutely to be here.
Seeing you right at the equator, coming from the Rotary Club of Calcutta. Well, what is your first impression of this beautiful country? And sorry if I'm putting words in your mouth.
No, you've said exactly what I would have wanted to say. So, first of all, I come from Calcutta Mahanagar because if my members hear me, they'll say you did not correct it.
Oh, yes.
I've loved this place, let me tell you. This is my third day here. I can promise you this is not my last visit. I'm definitely going to come here.
Please come and stay.
Yes, I will.
There is in fact a big family in here for generations that has your surname. In fact, I wanted to ask, any relationship with the Mehtas of Uganda?
No, I know. And Shekhar Mehta is one of the more famous names here, the rally driver.
Exactly.
Oh, yes, I'm aware of that. No, not related to him.
But good that you have the coincidental appearance of name. You as the Rotary International President, just for the sake of our listeners and viewers who may not quite understand what it is to be a Rotarian, what is that position and what is Rotary International?
So Rotary International is a membership organization with service as its mainstay. The motto is service above self. So it's now a 116-year-old organization.
Wow.
Started in 1905. It started in Chicago, but now it's in nearly 200 countries and geographical areas.
Wow.
1.2 million members. So, you know, at 1.2 million members, we are more in number than 40% of the nations in this world.
You could make your own country as well.
Oh, yes, it would. And around the world, we keep doing service activities. The major one, the biggest program that we've had is polio eradication. Mm-hmm. So, polio is not in Uganda.
Certainly.
You can thank the Rotarians for that, along with the government of Uganda, of course.
From the look of things, soon even cancer may be something that we'll be speaking about in the past, considering how much Rotary is doing.
Yes, I know. In Uganda especially, cancer is something that the Rotarians here are working a lot on. Just yesterday, I was at one of the institutes where Rotary is doing great work as far as cancer is concerned. Mm-hmm. So coming back on polio, when we started the program about 35 years back, a little more than that, 350,000 children were getting afflicted.
Wow.
Either they would not live or they would get paralyzed. This year, for the last 7 months,
no case.
One. Only 2 countries. There were 125 countries at that time. Right now, only Afghanistan and Pakistan. Even there, for last 7 months, there has not been a case. Another 5 months, no case there. And hopefully, we are this close, nearly there, to eradicate only the second vaccine preventable disease to be eradicated from the face of Earth.
Wow.
Isn't that great?
No, I mean, how it can't get any better.
It can't get any better.
Let's get down to you as an individual. You were nominated to this position of president in August of 2019, if I get that very right. But before that...
Was it 20?
Yeah.
No, 19, sorry.
Before that, you've been involved in the Rotary movement since 1985.
Yeah.
So one wants to appreciate from you, what is it that drove you into Rotary? You're a successful businessman, you are an accountant, you are a husband, you're a father. What then drove you into the area of Rotary?
So, you know, both my parents were members of Lions.
Lions.
Yeah. So Lions is a similar organization. Yes. Started a few years later after Rotary had started. They nearly they do similar things. Mm-hmm. Good organization. I've seen my parents do that. And so I was aware of what Lions and Rotary were. And a friend of mine invited me to Rotary, even before somebody could invite me to Lions. So I became a Rotarian.
Your parents must have felt a huge sense of loss.
No, not at all. Mm-hmm. In fact, my father, in his heart, he wanted me to join Rotary.
Okay.
He said, I know Lions. You might as well want to know what Rotary is.
Ah, okay. Tremendous. He's a liberal guy.
Yes, very liberal. He was a very liberal person.
So they invite you to Rotary, you get in there.
I get in there.
It's like the four-way test.
Yes, and that time we had not had our first child. Or we just had the first child. And but my wife was always involved in it. Parents approved of it.
Okay.
We were a joint family, so everything was good. I liked the club, got involved. I've never ever said no to anything in the organization, and that's what I tell to everyone. These are voluntary organizations. When you join them, don't say no if you are asked of anything. And I very frankly had baptism by fire.
Must have been.
I got in and I was asked to do something which I had never ever done.
Which was?
But somehow it became successful. I had to do some fundraising for the club.
Fundraising.
I did it. The members actually did the job, but I got the credit for it. And you know, credit is a good fuel for anybody to go ahead.
Absolutely. That's the wind beneath everyone's wings.
Absolutely. So it gave me a lot of wind beneath the wings, and I started flying. Soon enough, they asked me to become the club editor, bulletin editor. I became. That became a very... bulletin, I find, was the nerve center of a club, you know. Every information.
Knew everything.
You knew everything because you had to print it there.
Information is power, they say.
And it was at that time also. So I loved that. And then from one thing to the other, slowly I was introduced to the world of service.
I have read from your profile and, of course, a bit of a conversation I've had with you prior to this recording that you've been involved in so much, from eradication of blindness through eye clinics and the like, relief, aid. You have the shelter box, or you call it shelter kit. You're doing almost everything that there is in Rotary. Is that intrinsically you, from those who know you as a child and all that? Is that intrinsically you, kind, generous, and always giving, or is it something Rotary bestows onto you?
Both. When I joined Rotary, I did not join for service. I joined just for making friends.
Have fun.
Have fun, make friends, networking maybe. But over a period of time, very soon enough, I started having a deeper look into what the other world, as I call it. There is my world, which was very comfortable. There was the other world where things were not so hunky-dory in life for them. For me, running hot water was a given.
It was a given, yes.
For them, there were no toilets. For me, filtered water was something I always wanted. They drank the same water that they bathed in, the pond. So I realized there was a different world and it was not fair to them. And Rotary helped me see that. So over a period of time, I started thinking of others, caring for others, sharing with others. Service started growing on me, so much so that the very mantra of my life became, service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy on this earth.
Let's say that again. Service is the rent you pay
for the
space you occupy on earth.
Absolutely.
What a powerful statement. Mr. President, on this program we play our music. Now I would love to know and appreciate the music taste of a president.
Sure.
What will be your first song?
Sure. I love music, let me tell you. The first song will be the very essence of service. It's a song from my own language, Hindi.
Okay.
So it is Kisi ki muskurahaton pe ho nisar.
Today you're taking me to music school. I must find this song and play it for you.
You will, and you will love it. The tune is very good, and the meaning, try to find out the meaning of the lyrics, it's excellent. So it tells that if you can bring a smile on somebody's face, that is the essence of life.
Wow, powerful message in
Yes.
there. What a way to start our music journey on the program with that powerful and beautiful song as chosen by you. And let us enjoy it. We have always claimed to love Hindi music. The president of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta, sharing with us his life story But intrinsically, just the first part of the program, how he gets himself into Rotary and how service has become part and parcel of his life. In fact, he did say in a very powerful statement that service is the rent he pays for the space he occupies on earth. Powerful statement. Mr. President, we've now heard about your journey of Rotary to the extent of now being president. But we want to know who you are. Where were you born? To whom were you born?
Okay, so I was born to Sumer. Sumer was my father's name, and Wallabh my mother's name. Sumer Chand Mehta, Wallabh Kumari Mehta. I was born in Jaipur, although we lived in Calcutta. But you know, in India, at that era, the delivery of a child always took place at the mother's parents' place.
Ah, okay. So your mother goes back home?
Back home, yeah. That was always the system at that time. So she went back to Jaipur where my maternal side was. And I was born in Jaipur, a lovely city.
Wow.
It's called the Pink City. Everything is pink there. So probably I was born in pink of health. And then we came back to Calcutta a few months later. So I was raised in Calcutta. Studied in Calcutta throughout. I have lived in Calcutta, another beautiful city. Excellent.
The only thing I know about Calcutta, I must admit,
Yes.
is Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa.
Did you ever get to meet her?
Absolutely. Oh, yes, I did many times. Many times.
You're
Yes,
in a
yes,
good place. I mean, I would want to touch your hands. I mean, someone who has met
Oh, yes.
Mother
Absolutely. An
Teresa.
angel. Absolutely.
An angel amongst us. Growing up, are you an only child?
No. I'm the elder one, and I have two younger sisters. One is Rashmi, the other is Madhulika.
So for you, one boy, two sisters,
Two sisters.
must be very protective of them. Or did they spoil you because then they made sure that they treat
no.
you so well?
So one of them is 3.5 years younger to me, and the other is 9 years younger to me.
Wow.
So naturally, I was more protective. They gave me tremendous love. They still do.
Wow.
And naturally, a little protective.
You did mention that for you, you were raised in, to a large extent, comfortable lifestyle,
Yes.
where whatever you needed, at least your parents were able to provide.
Oh, yes.
What did your parents do for a living?
So my father was amongst the early chartered accountants.
Uh-huh.
An accountant, certified accountant.
Explains why you ended up there.
Oh, yes, yes. Our family is full of accountants. More than 30 accountants we have in our family.
Ooh.
I come from a city where they say if you throw a stone, it will fall on a chartered accountant. That city is called Jodhpur. It's a
Wow.
beautiful city. Great palaces, forts, a wonderful city, great heritage. But very intellectual people from there, very sharp in maths and very sharp in accounting. Probably something intrinsic from that place itself.
Now we know where to do our fishing for accountants. for
Yes,
some other
absolutely,
people.
absolutely. So he was an accountant, so he came to Calcutta he did his graduation in Calcutta, and then he did his accountancy course in Calcutta itself, and then he got into a job.
Right in
And,
Calcutta.
Yeah, and at a meager amount, which was a princely sum at that time for anyone.
I can imagine.
Today we look, it's unbelievable, unthinkable. But then he rose, because he was an accountant, he was paid well, and he rose to be amongst the financial advisors, etc., the director of that company, CEO, and later stage, he started his own business also. Even as he was working,
He had his own accountancy firm, so to
no,
say.
not an accountancy firm. He started some business, manufacturing cloth down in south of India.
Wow.
Then a leasing business. And then I came into the business. I joined him initially for 1 or 2 years. That's what I did with him. Then I branched out, starting my own business. It was a family business.
I want to understand how you are brought in to run with your father in his business. And then along the way, you get the tenacity to think, oh, I could actually branch out and do my own business. Doesn't that sometimes appear like parting ways?
No, not at all. Actually,
Or that's diversification for you?
diversification, exactly. I always, I studied reasonably well in the sense that in the accountancy field, there was nothing else for me to do. I'm a chartered accountant, a cost
You had
accountant,
gone through
a
all the
company
ACCAs,
secretary,
whatever they call them.
a postgraduate, everything I did. And yet, I was sure that I wanted to do business and make buildings. I always wanted to make buildings because that was something that I could see coming up in front of my eyes. Accounts you don't see. You don't see anything coming
just
up.
Double entry, you know.
Exactly. So I wanted to make buildings, nice buildings. So that was my passion. It became my business. So that's it. And it was a diversification. It was a family business.
Now into real estate, and you know, sometimes one asks themselves, does it really come in that you find a ready market, or you were at the time when India's population was going up and the demand for shelter and space for other things like offices also going up? So could we say it was a bit of luck as opposed to great business acumen?
I don't think too much business acumen was needed as far as marketing was concerned, as far as sales was concerned. There was a need, but there were cycles also. And the cycles in real estate in India, and it varies from city to city. In my city, slow cycles. It went up slow, but when it came down, it went back up very slow. So it took time. So one had to be a patient person in that business. Fortunately, I never borrowed. So because I did not have to borrow, so it did not make a difference. What was today stock for me became investment even if it was not sold.
Wow, that's a nice way of looking at it. Your dad, in terms of other than rubbing by you the accountancy bag, what kind of person was he in terms of upbringing for you? Was he?
There's something that's got here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we normally get all these incredible. That's the beauty of this country. A lot of flora and fauna. Yeah. Other than rubbing the accountancy bag on you, in terms of upbringing and the virtues that parents pass on to their children, what would you say your dad passed on to you that you still hold dear today that makes you who you are?
Probably a sharp analytical mind.
Wow.
He had a very sharp mind. Extremely sharp. You know, he would give me something to do. He would say, Shekhar, just go do this and come back. I would put in my best, and I was reasonably good at all this. I would bring it back to him. The first sentence, he would find some mistake in it. So I realized he was quite sharp at it, and that's something probably.
He had an eye for detail.
Yeah, and I too think on my feet most of the times. So probably that's something that I got from him. A sharp mind. He was a generous person also, so that also probably came into. He had a great personality.
I'm speaking to you from a different school of upbringing, where in this part of the world, parents love to their children. Sometimes in our generation, what's showed by a little spank just to make sure that they don't spoil the child when they keep the rod away. Was that happening in your part of the world by the time you were growing up?
No.
So your dad never spanked you at all?
No, only once in my life, and that was when I was very small. I used to write on the walls, you know.
Shekhar was here.
So, right. So that was just once. I was probably told many times not to write, and that's just once that I got a spanking. That was all.
And the spank was so good that you never wrote on the wall again, right?
I saw the writing on the wall.
The writing was on the wall. Quite very interesting. Shekhar, let's play your next song.
Sure. This next one, let me not give you the Hindi one, let me give you an English one, is Imagine.
Imagine.
By John Lennon.
Wow.
Oh, I love that song. Again, it's so much about this world, about how living peacefully, how we all can share this world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one.
Wow.
Someday you too shall join me and we shall live as one. Amazing lines. Amazing.
Do you listen to music entirely for the lyrical value, or can you also dance?
Oh yes, I can dance.
I want to challenge you to a dance, Mr. President.
Ah.
Don't dare me.
Well, this is not a dance program. So on a dance program, I'll do the dance also.
I'll tell you something about this program, Mr. President.
Yes.
It can turn into anything.
Oh, sure.
Let's not push it. I don't want to be punished by Rotary members. This may not be service above self. Let's be back. Imagine by John Lennon, as chosen by the President of Rotary International. A song deep in meaning, the kind of meaning that speaks to your heart and makes you a better place, especially if you have to leave this world a better place than we all have found it. We'll be right back.
Desert Island Discs.
Welcome back to the program. The president of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta, sharing with us his life story, an incredible life story of a young man raised in India, in Calcutta to be very specific, from a middle-class family, lived in some, what would say, comfortable opulence, but realizes that there is a world out there that just can only imagine and dream of what he took for granted as an everyday occurrence: hot water, clean water, a roof over your head, and everything in between. Now back to you in your life story. You go to A-class school, so to speak, SU examinations, but as you did all that, there was no doubt in your mind that you would end up an accountant, was there? Or had you dreamt of other things?
No. A certain stage onwards, I knew that I would be an accountant. I would want to be an accountant. It was a tough examination to do at that time. But I could do it, and once I did one, I had enrolled for the other cost accountant. So both of them went parallelly. When you do both of these, the third one, which is the company secretary, you get exemption in 50% of the papers.
Wow.
I said, then why not do that? I mean, it's only 50% of the effort. I could do that, and that came very easily. And then I realized I'd always wanted to do PhD, doctorate. For that, you had to enroll for masters, and I had not enrolled for masters.
So
So I did not enroll. There is a system that you can give a private examination. You don't need to enroll and go to a university, but if you give the examination and you pass it, I had already done much more. I had already completed CA, so I did that to doctorate, but never did it, except very recently. It was conferred on me voluntarily. So
wow, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, so like we say here, what you're asking to be felled with an axe, the wind just blew.
Yes, exactly.
Lucky man you are.
Absolutely.
But as you're going through all this journey of education and career building, you're also a young man growing and changing and beginning to appreciate finer things in life.
Yes.
Did you indulge in some of these life attractions, hit the bars if at all, go to nightclubs, live like a teenager growing up, an adolescent?
I would say not so much as a teenager, but when we got married, Rashi and I both enjoy life. So we've traveled half the world, I would say, and we've lived a very fulfilled life, enjoyed nightclubs, both love to dance.
Let me get this right.
Yes.
You indulge in having a good time after marriage. Here, usually, we do that before marriage. Because when you get married, here, well, let me keep it simple.
Don't get yourself into trouble, okay?
But then it's interesting how you do this after marriage. The question is, therefore, how did you meet Raji?
Okay, how did I meet Rashi? So Rashi's parents and my parents were in the same Lions Club. So that's how we met, as family friends. And she has 3 other sisters, 1 youngest brother. So, and 2 of my sisters and me, we were all family friends, went out together, we went to movies, etc., went for dinner and all. So over a period of time, she wasn't amongst those, all the brothers and sisters who was my favorite initially. But then she came to a wedding of one of my cousins with me to Jodhpur, Jaipur, etc., with our parents, of course. That's when we got to know each other a little better as friends. The friendship slowly turned into love, and then we dated for 7 years, which was at that time unthinkable in India, let me tell you.
That was a short time, a long time?
Long time, long. In India, that was a time when marriages were arranged by parents.
Oh, yes.
Previous to my generation, they never even got to see each other.
Until the day of marriage.
Until the day of marriage. In my case, so people, because of our surnames, they could very easily understand that these are not from the same community. So they would ask me, yours was a love marriage or an arranged marriage? I would say it was an arranged marriage, only that she and I arranged it for ourselves.
7 years, wasn't that a point of concern between the parents? When your parents
They didn't come to know. They didn't come to know.
For 7 years, you kept it beneath the radar.
Yes.
You're such a
Beneath,
secretive guy.
Not for 6 years it was beneath the radar, and then because we started dating when we were only 17. Yeah, and both of us were 24 when we got married. So in India at that time it was unthinkable that you would be dating for 7 years, but it happened.
Wow. When your parents get to know that you are dating, what were the reaction, if you recall?
Yeah, I do recall. Not bad. The reactions were good because the parents, they were amongst the best friends actually by then. Her parents, my parents, they were amongst the best. And also, in a way, while this was what they called not an arranged marriage, a love marriage as they would call it at that time, we were both from a similar community.
So you're
Not a drastic difference between our cultures. Very similar, extremely similar cultures. So probably it wasn't a problem for them.
Well, of course, for us here, we don't even realize that within the Indian community, there are different cultures, subcultures. We look at you as the same. So
Same. Let me tell you, when we are out of India, we are Indians.
we are Indians, exactly.
In fact, at times we are just Asians. In India, we are many other things.
Many other things, but when you're out of there, you go back to the default setting. And now the enjoying of life begins. So you now go to, clubs, you both love dancing, but what's that one favorite thing that the two of you love to do together?
Watch movies.
I'll be tempted to ask, what kind of movies? Bollywood productions or Hollywood productions?
Initially we used to see a lot of Hollywood productions, but later on Rashi did not much enjoy Hollywood, so we shifted more to Bollywood. So Bollywood, any movie that comes, I have to see it. I don't read reviews.
You just watch.
I put reviews because if I read reviews, then I don't get to see every movie.
Wow.
Because people say it's bad, you don't get to see it.
it.
I would rather go enjoy the movie. So both of us love to go movies. We love to eat out, and we love to travel.
Now, let's start from the movie part. And this I'm going to say to you with the impression of Uganda. It is Bollywood, India.
Yeah.
Hollywood, USA. Nollywood, Nigeria. Guess what wood we have in Uganda? So I'm going to put that task before you leave this country. You'll have to leave with a collection of Yuga wood movies.
Yuga wood.
Yuga wood
Okay,
movies.
wow.
You will love what you will watch.
Is it?
You will love what you
Okay.
will watch.
Send me links to at least 2 movies. I'll love to watch. As long as they have subtitles, I'll love to watch. Even without subtitles, I can watch movies, let me tell you.
Our action will speak for itself.
Perfect.
Let's get down to the food. You've been in this country for 3 days. Have you eaten any local cuisine?
I'm bad at that, let me tell you. I'm a very fussy vegetarian. I'm a vegetarian, and that too, I'm a fussy vegetarian.
Wow.
Rashi loves to try these things, local things. She's also a vegetarian, but she tries. I'm not adventurous when it comes to food.
When you say a fussy vegetarian, you come with your pack of vegetables from Kolkata wherever you travel? Or?
Not vegetables. You cannot carry vegetables. As such.
Exactly.
But you do carry some backup food, which is there, because not every place you get vegetarian. Of course, on this trip we've got whatever food we needed. Oh, amazing!
It's a beautiful place.
People
every vegetable grows in this place.
And also, people have taken such great care. It's unbelievable. Absolutely.
That's
they ensured. When I was in Cameroon, I couldn't believe every day the meals came. I was there for 4 or 5 days. Both meals were Indian meals. Not that we love only Indian meals. We do try, but vegetarian Italian, vegetarian Chinese, vegetarian Japanese food.
Vegetarian Ugandan food.
Yes.
Tremendous. You should try that. And how do you love to wash down your vegetarian meal?
Oh, with a Diet Coke.
That's an interesting.
I'm an uninteresting guy for your show, you know.
No, I'm just looking.
No nightclubs before marriage, and no drinks thereafter. Nothing to talk about any fish or any great food.
And yet, look at you, perfect in good health and everything. We thought that healthy guys like me are those that eat everything other than vegetables.
Yes, yes. You know, vegetarian food is not just about vegetables. It's how it is cooked. It's an art, I tell you. Unfortunately, I don't think India has marketed its food, but if they do, there is no better cuisine than Indian cuisine in the world, I can tell you. It is amazing. The perception people have is...
Mr. President, are you trying to evoke a debate between who has better food?
I am ensuring there is another show with you, which is a debate, not a music show.
When you next return here, I will prepare my arsenal with regard to Ugandan cuisine.
So let's do one thing. I'll share you recipes for Indian cuisine. There are many Indian restaurants here. Yesterday I was at one of them, Khana Khazana. You can take royalty from them for my having mentioned
I'll
them.
send them the invoice immediately.
Please do. The food there was excellent. And you send me the recipe for vegetarian Ugandan food. Okay?
Watch me.
And next time we'll have a debate on it.
Without a doubt. Now let's get back down to your life story. You have studied. You are working. You have now met the love of your life. All this is happening in Kolkata.
Yes.
Did you ever, at any one time before that, venture out of your country? Had you ever traveled out of your country?
I had to neighboring countries only. To Nepal is the only place I had gone before my wedding.
What are you going to do in Nepal? Climb the Everest?
There are things. So my father also used to love taking the family out. So we went to
vacations.
Vacations, many places in India. Then we had gone to Nepal also. But just after our wedding, in fact, our honeymoon was outside India, was in Bangkok and Hong Kong.
Wow.
So that was a trip that we made, and thereafter we started traveling a lot. Probably each year we ventured out of India and traveled a lot.
Let's play your next song. When we return, it's now forward going from that journey of now being an adult.
Yes, so let me tell you, by now we had got married. So even before getting married, the next song is the favorite one of both Rashi and me.
Wow.
And which says, Gata rahe mera dil, tu hi meri manzil. So let my heart keep singing a song. Song for you, because you are the destiny of my life.
Wow, powerful, man. You guys have incredible lyrics. You speak to each other's souls.
Yes.
And even just to preempt what I'm getting myself into, what's the tempo like? Is it the usual fast tempo, in the song, or it's a ballad just goes?
So some of these, we love all of these, let me tell you. I like fast-paced numbers also. But to me, what's most heart-touching is if the lyrics are very good.
Wow.
So then I like more melodious songs than rhythmic songs, I would say.
Because then I now realize where you listen to your music from. Seated, relaxing, with your feet up, and taking in the message as it comes in.
Exactly.
Let's feel that way about your song and speak to each other's souls with our respective loved ones. We'll be right back. It's Desert Island Discs.
Desert Island Discs.
Welcome back to the program. It's the president of Rotary International, Shekhar Mehta, sharing with us his life story. He's had quite an interesting one, and we're glad that he's taken off time, his very busy schedule, to share with us this life story. So, you're now an adult, you're married. Have you been blessed with any children?
Oh yes, 2.
Oh, incredible. So, take us through the journey of how then you face parenting. First.
So the first interesting thing, I have 2 children, born on the same date. 15th June, but 2 years apart.
Okay, if this, what they call that, double entry, and ending up with the
Yes, so we didn't have computers at that time.
But you had your accounting knowledge.
Yes.
You count the stars and the position of the moon and say, right here, this is it.
Right, yeah.
That's an incredible coincidence.
Yes.
I'll tell you something, my sisters, I have 2 of them. They are 2 years apart
Uh-huh.
and share the same birthday, 5th of April.
Look. And isn't it a coincidence that two people sitting here have similar stories to say?
Similar stories to say, exactly. So you see, there was something about the stars that aligned us together.
Yes, Simon Shekhar.
Indeed, SS. So the first 15th of June baby came in which year?
1985.
Tell us the experience
Oh,
that you had.
outstanding. It was a boy, my son, and Rashi tells me, oh, how ecstatic she saw me when I came in, and I remember thumping the ground and saying, wow, wow. When I got the news, I was just outside the delivery room. And,
where you had been pacing up and down for a
yes,
couple of
yes,
hours, of
yes,
course,
yes.
without...
Yes. So it was great having a son, and the feeling was great.
This time had Rashi gone to her parents'
No,
place?
no. She had not.
And then 2 years later, what baby do you have?
Yes, we have a girl.
Wow. So you not only ensured that they were on the same day, but you ensured that you balanced the sex.
Yes, absolutely. So that was it. So a boy and a girl. The boy's name was Chirag. Chirag means a lamp.
Wow.
And
So light they
Chandni,
shine.
Chandni is moonlight.
Wow. Lamp and moonlight.
Yes.
Incredible
So,
choice of names.
yeah, very nice names. I loved both the names. So that's
But-
it.
This is, you're joining Rotary in 1985, you're having your first child in 1985, then 2 years later you have a second child, but then the service is getting thicker and more involving for you. Your businesses are taking on another trajectory. You were juggling so many balls up in the sky. How were you able to do this? Just take us through how you're balancing it out.
So many people ask me this, but it's never been difficult for me. Very.
Came
I've been
naturally.
able to do it very easily. Another thing, and not just in Rotary, I've never said no to anything. If let's say I'm invited to 4 events in an evening, including 3 dinners maybe, I'll go to all 3 of them. Because
The president.
I feel there is a reason why that person has called me. And I think I should go. Even if I cannot
Just
have
show
dinner at 3 places.
You can
And
only
the
have
third
one.
place that I go to, probably they are winding up the dinner. But they know Shekhar will come.
Wow. So you are that reliable guy that when you promise, you deliver.
That's one thing with all modesty that I can command. I would say if I make a promise, I will go to the last extent that I can to fulfill that promise.
Do you think, anyway, this is a question I should ask other people as opposed to yourself, but looks like it is particularly for that reason that Rotary International chose you as its president. But let's not go to the apex of your career in Rotary. Let's go to the making of. How do you race through the ranks? Guy at the Rotary Club in Kolkata, then now you are the Rotary International president. Just take us through that trajectory. Did you have to outdo yourself and donate the most? Did you have to be, well, attend 5 dinners in one night? But again, from your profile that I've managed to catch up is, anyone walking into a room of top executives possibly could not even have seen you to be the most outstanding. You are the ordinary guy with a piercing look, like you're looking at me right now.
Yes, I would say, when I joined Rotary, and I keep saying this, when I joined Rotary, I never wanted to be the president of my club.
Of your club.
Yeah,
Now
when I became the president, I did not want to become the next governor of the club, of the district.
Of the district.
But when I became the district governor, I did not think I would go down to the board of directors. When I went to the board of directors, I wasn't looking forward to becoming the president immediately. And I keep telling young people, that's a message, please put excellence in whatever you do. Like they say, if they say, wipe this table clean.
Wipe it like nobody has ever done.
Yes, don't check it from here, check it from beneath whether it's clean or not.
Wow.
Gandhi would say, the father of our nation,
Yes.
he said that let's all do our job with such passion that even when somebody sweeps a floor, let somebody else who's coming and seeing think as if some artist has done some work of art.
Wow.
That's the dignity
Powerful.
of labor. Yes.
Powerful, powerful.
Very powerful.
And now that you mention Gandhi, Mr. President, have you ever considered detouring a little bit from service into service in the realm of politics?
Yes. So let me tell you, many times it has crossed my mind that I'm giving a lot of time, energy to this work. I like scaling up the work that I do. I feel if I am devoting so much time, then my time and energy should be to as many people as is possible. That's why I scale up the work of service. But when I compare my service activities to those of a politician, let's say a member of parliament, that's what his or her job is, to do service to the community, to their country, to their constituency. For example, if I did $1 million project, it would be a big project in Rotary or any service organization. It would be a big project. But when it comes to governmental monies, these are small amounts.
Is small.
It's small.
It's a drop in the ocean.
And yet I am giving the same amount of time, same energy as that member of parliament is giving. So at times I think that probably it would be a good idea to be a member of parliament and able to serve more people. But you know,
or even a prime minister to serve 1 billion people, as is the case with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Am I speaking the next Prime Minister of India?
No, you're not speaking to that. I've not ventured into politics, not that I'm averse. I would maybe someday I may. Often I have thought of, but you know, every time I thought of, I went on to the next stage in Rotary itself. So I had to fulfill that duty. I remember having written a letter to one of these leaders at that time wanting to join their party to get into politics, but I couldn't finalize that letter. Even before I could finalize, this position for me to be on the board of directors of Rotary came in. So my attention went there, and I found good, I get great satisfaction out of what I do in serving people. So I'm happy there.
But let's agree that your tenure as president is not forever. So June next year, you pack your bags out of Rotary as the president.
But you know, that's only a position. That is not just my life.
Yes, you're right.
I'll keep working at the community level, at the national level, on service programs, maybe even at international levels. Wow. On my tour for the last 7 countries, each of the countries I have discussed with the presidents of the countries or the prime ministers of the countries, and we've agreed to do many things in Africa which will all not happen in 1 year.
Wow.
So maybe I will still be involved even in Africa, let me tell you. And this is just the first continent that I visited.
First continent you have visited, here you are in Uganda. Have you had any conversations with our leadership that you may want to share with us on the program? What it is that we can expect from you and Rotary in collaboration with the government?
So let me first thank the people of Uganda, outstanding people, extremely friendly, and that's been across Africa, let me tell you. Wow. I had great faith, and my faith has turned right, absolutely. That's why I chose Africa early in the year. I still remember having said that I want to go early because I find great potential as far as membership growth is concerned.
In Africa.
Coming to Africa at the end of the year would not have helped growth of membership, but coming early in my year, it has helped already, I can see. The goals which I had thought will be 5,000 extra members is going to be beyond 15,000 extra members.
Wow, 3 times,
3 times, yes. And that has come only because of my discussion, meeting, inspiration, motivating them, etc. So that's one. And second, my mantra, one of the mantras, many mantras this year, one of them is grow more, do more.
Grow more, do more. Wow.
So grow more is a big leap we are trying to take in membership. An unbelievable leap we are trying to take in membership, and I'm sure we will be able to do that. So the second mantra is each one bring one.
Each one bring one.
Yeah, simple. Okay. It's a tough task looking at the total numbers. We want to increase by 10%. It's a big deal. Oh, yes. We haven't increased by 10% in the last 20 years. And yet we want to do it 1 year by a simple mantra, which is each one bring one. I have
a feeling you will grow to 100%.
Theoretically, yes, but practically, no. we would be happy even at 10%, and we don't need to grow more than that in 1 year. But even if we do 10%, it's going to be amazing. And in Africa, I thought it would be so, and it is so. And then when you grow more, there are greater opportunities. Rotarians here put in their heart and soul into Rotary, let me tell you. There are needs here, and when a Rotarian sees a need, fulfills that need, that's what these people are. I call them change makers. They are making big changes in lives of people. So I'm very happy I came to Africa. This is the last country that I've come to, Uganda. So yesterday they did something unprecedented, at least I've never heard or seen in Rotary, is that the Parliament of Uganda yesterday passed a motion, a resolution that praised, that welcomed Rashi and me to the country and praised Rotary for its work worldwide and in
Uganda.
Yes, so that was amazing. We were invited to the Parliament, we were there in the galleries, and the debate kept going on for such a long time that we had to leave midway because we had to go and meet the President of Uganda. It was getting late, but the debate went on. Even when we left thereafter, at least 10 more members of Parliament must have spoken. In front of us, more than 10 had already spoken in favor of Rotary.
Wow,
so that was an amazing thing. Next was the visit to the President. Great meeting we had. Outstanding meeting with him, discussed a lot of things. Each of the places we went, I've always felt that Rotary has a lot to offer. We are not going to seek anything, nothing. Rotary's job is to go and do things. So what is it that we can do? When we do polio, we are asking the government, it's the government's job to eradicate polio.
Yes, true.
So when we go, we say we are there to help. I feel government and civil society coming together is one of the best and most potent combination. So wherever the government is welcoming the civil society, I think that's a great government. And the Ugandan president was so, the parliament was so. So we discussed various things, including bringing technology to education here, setting up eye hospitals, setting up blood banks, setting up dialysis facilities. These are some of the things that we have discussed, and we have come to an agreement that yes, we will do these here.
You will do this year?
Yes.
Wow.
Start them this year. Not everything gets completed in a year.
At least we start.
Oh yes.
Incredible stuff. Let's play our next music.
So the next music would be, again, a song that Rashi and I we used to sing before we got married. And it is a song about Jhilmil Sitaron Ka Aangan Hoga, which says that, okay, we will have our own little home. It will be a dream home that we will have together, and what a life it will be together.
Wow. Dreamt together, actuated it, and now you are in this beautiful dream home. But let me ask, where is your home with Raj? Is it in Chicago now? Is it in Calcutta?
It's everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right now it's in Uganda.
In Uganda. Can we invite you to pitch permanent camp in Uganda? Look at beautiful weather. You know, the water bodies, the fresh lush green.
I love Uganda, but you know, I love my country too much. I love my country too much.
And with the political ambitions that you have?
No, not necessarily for the political ambitions. As I said, that's again a thing, if it comes, if it will come. But I would love to go back to the country. I love this country. Let me tell you, it's one thing is sure, this city is beautiful.
Thank you.
As you drive from the airport, the site is beautiful. You will agree. Those, and you know, these are the houses I love, with those tiled roofs. So if I were to make my own home, this is the sort of design it would have. Tiled roof.
You are in real estate, so you have gotten some what you call it, inspiration.
Sense. Yes, and a sense of aesthetics. That's why I was into real estate. I wanted to make beautiful things. So when I see good buildings, nice buildings, I like this. The colors, you know, the earthen colors match with the greenery of Uganda. It's beautiful.
Perfect combination.
It's just the perfect, and add to that water.
The water.
What else do you want to see in life?
What you see over there is the largest freshwater lake in the world.
In the world, wow, Lake Victoria.
Right here.
Yes.
We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Desert Island Discs.
Welcome back to the program. The President of Rotary International, happy to be in Uganda, happy to have met the leadership of this country at the highest level, but most importantly, happy that the Parliament of Uganda passed a resolution of Parliament to thank him, Rotary International, for the work you do around the world, but even very specifically in Uganda. Let's get down to you as an individual. President Mehta, what gives you a good laugh?
What gives me a good laugh? People say I have a great sense of humor.
Without a doubt, I've experienced it.
I like making everything serious fun, you know. The most serious of things when we are doing, I'm a team person. I like to work with people. And I always sprinkle with a lot of humor. It has to be great fun when you're doing anything. But I do it very seriously, let me tell you. Any job that I take up, I put my heart and soul into it. I work with a team, but I make it real fun also for myself and for others.
I love this mantra. Fun outside, serious inside. That's you.
Quite like the swan. Paddling hard
I
beneath.
What gives you, I don't want to call it anger, but what makes you sad?
Nothing makes me sad for a long time, let me tell you. Nothing. This was, I used to always say, the biggest of problems. I take very little time to overcome it. Mentally, whether it's let's say a business loss or a personal loss or a lost opportunity, they don't pull me down. Till very recently, when my mother passed,
Oh dear.
that was, she passed, I think she had 4 or 5 more years in her, and she suddenly passed, and that was something that made me sad for a longer period. And the first time I felt, no, this thing that I had in myself that I could immediately control it. Even today, every day I think of her, which is, well, so I realized that it is not always that nothing will make you
Sad
not
for a
sad.
long time, yeah.
Yes, but generally nothing pulls me down. I get disappointed or irritated at times with people when the one thing that irritates me is when people don't do their job as they are expected to. So I'll give you an example.
Like you.
Yes, you are absolutely right. For a perfectionist that I am, I would want the last thing to go properly. And basics, I don't expect excellence out of everyone, but I do expect basics out of the job that person is supposed to do. So if I order for, let's say, a cold coffee which should be absolutely chilled with no sugar in it, and if a coffee comes which is not chilled and with sugar in it, I feel then that's what his job was, to take that order from me and bring it like
you
I
ordered
wanted.
it.
That means his heart and soul is not there, and that's the only thing which, I mean, it would say, what is this guy doing? And why can he not do it properly?
And then you move on to the next.
Oh yes.
Talking about coffee, have you tried some good Ugandan coffee?
Yes, African coffee, I've loved it.
Let's
And
remove
Ugandan
African.
coffee.
Ugandan coffee.
Yes, Ugandan coffee, I've tried. Naturally, I keep drinking coffee here, morning, evening, afternoon. Very nice.
Very nice, that's the word.
Yes.
Please keep it Ugandan coffee. They say, but I can't verify this scientifically, but I'm told when you begin drinking Ugandan coffee, it gives an extra 10 years to your life. So if you are to live for 100 years, Mr. President, you may have to go about 110, 115, and in good health.
Oh, I see. Okay. So that much more work in life, eh?
I know. No, but we can take the 10 years on a hammock here in Uganda, just chilling and relaxing.
But I know that's not me. Even on the hammock, I would be planning something.
I know. You'll be planning and thinking and actuating things. We've heard about your favorite dish, vegetarian, and fussy at that.
Yes.
We've now known what your best drink is, a Diet Coke, and some coffee here and there. But what do you do when you intend to relax and put your hair down?
I'm always relaxed, and at the same time I'm working hard, let me tell you. My work gives me so much relaxation, so much joy that I don't need time to relax.
I have never had anyone speak so fondly about their work like you do.
Yes,
Mr. President.
and I find it strange, you know, I'm not a guy, like you said, you sit asleep, I sit on a hammock and just, I can't believe myself doing it. I cannot do it actually. I would get fidgety, I would get up, try to think of something, and yet I'm always relaxed. I'm happy, absolutely.
Wow.
So people sometimes ask me, what's the secret of your energy? And I say the answer is, I'm always happy.
And relaxed.
That is the secret. So I wouldn't say I'm always relaxed necessarily. I do get when I have to meet deadlines, etc. I do. I'm not relaxed at that time, but in my heart and soul, I'm relaxed. Absolutely, I'm happy.
What's your typical day like? Just take us through. What time do you wake up and what time do you go to sleep?
Let me start with what time I go to sleep. I sleep at not before 2 o'clock in the morning.
What?
2 a.m. Yes.
Mr. President, isn't that the polite way of saying you have insomnia?
No, not
So
at
when
all.
you sleep at 2 a.m., you wake up the next day at midday?
No. Fortunately, I can do with very little sleep. Fortunately. And yet I do not suffer from insomnia at all. So I sleep at 2 o'clock. Normally, if I sleep at 2 o'clock, I would get up at 7:30. But on an average, I think I get up at 5, 3 hours of sleep, because every third day I'm traveling out of my city and I like to take the first flights out and the last flights in.
Oh, yes.
So
First flight out.
So first flights are normally at 6 o'clock, which means you need to get up at 4 o'clock, get ready, go to the airport, check in.
And then land wherever it is, then have to adjust your mind to the time zone of that area.
That's not a problem. Again, fortunately, I don't have jet lags. So I adjust to all that very easily. So I get up at, let's say, on a normal day by 7:30, I have to have a bed tea, right? I just sit up, have my bed tea, read my newspaper, and for the first...
You pardon that, the helicopter, I think they've come for the president, so sorry we had to delay him until his means of transport show up. But let's proceed.
Yes. For the first 20 or 30 minutes in the morning, I don't talk too much. I don't like being talked to too much. Rashi keeps asking me questions which I don't answer at that time. That time I want to be left alone. And then because that's
when your thought
a
process
little bit, not thought process necessarily. I just don't want to talk too much. I'm reading the newspaper, maybe sipping my tea. That's the only tea I have in the day. And that too just to give Rashi company, because that's how it started, but now it's become a habit. Once I do that, I get ready, I go to work, whole day I work. In the evening I come back home by about 7:30. I reach office at about 10 o'clock, 10:30. And I'm back by about 7:30, 8. Once I come back, there is, I watch a lot of television, I'll watch movies. Twice in a week we go out for movies or maybe for dinner. This is when I'm in Calcutta. And then once I'm back, I have work even at home to do, lots of calls to make. Right now I have international calls to make, different times of the world. This is a routine day, but I travel too much. So within India, outside India, so then it becomes a different thing altogether. I'm getting up in a different city or a different country, doing whatever I'm supposed to do in that country or city, and planning how can we do a little more good in this world.
Wow, what a man. 3 hours of sleep. I think you belong to the school of thought of Napoleon, you know, the great war monger, Napoleon Bonaparte. And what he
So
said
I'll tell you an interesting thing. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, when he came to power, he came on the plank of the previous government being blamed for corruption. So corruption, in a way, in Indian language, it is saying, wo khata hai. Khata hai means he's eating up. Means in a way, it is bribery or corruption or things like that. So he would say, मैं न खाऊंगा न खाने दूंगा, which meant neither will I eat nor will I let you eat, not in the sense of eating food, But in sense of corruption,
I will
money,
not be corrupt and I will not let you.
corrupt. And my slogan is, "Main na sounga na sone." He would say, "Main na khaunga na khane dunga." I say, "Main na sounga na sone dunga," which is neither will I sleep nor will I let you guys sleep. The reason being, we have just 1 year and there's too much in this world to be done.
Wow.
For
me,
the
I
good
say-
of humanity, I can sacrifice a little bit of my sleep and ask my fellow Rotarians to do the same.
So, I tell many of my friends that we'll sleep enough and long in our graves. Here, as long as we are alive,
Well said.
Go
I love that
on.
statement. We'll sleep enough in our graves.
and
Wow.
for long. So
Good.
let's now do the work right here.
Absolutely.
Mr. President, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
My pleasure. I've loved interacting with you.
Telling us your life story is humbling. But now, even without their permission, what have your children turned out to be? Accountants?
Oh,
Rotarians?
yeah. Let me tell you, that's an interesting part. So I've told you about 2 children. I have a 3rd child,
Wow.
which I got ready-made in life, which is my daughter-in-law.
Oh, tremendous.
So my daughter-in-law.
Oh, yes. You're definitely in love.
So when my son chose her, suddenly I felt, wow, Rashid, look, we've got this girl who we didn't have to bring up, but she's our 3rd child. What a pleasure it is to get a daughter-in-law. Amazing, absolutely.
Exactly. Already made, you know,
Oh,
prefab.
absolutely. Prefab. And she is fab.
Wow.
Coming to my children, son Chirag and Chandni, as they were growing up, I distinctly remember Rashi played a major role in their upbringing, naturally, took great care of her. Every day I remember at the door, they would be going to their school and she would say, "Do your work nicely," without fail, 365. I mean, every day that those children were, "Do your work nicely." My mantra to them was, you don't have to be in the top 10 in your class. Become a good human being.
Wow.
And they have not let us down, let me tell you. They are 2 outstanding human beings, very down to earth, extremely humble, not attracted by the gadgetry of this world or the technology necessarily. They know the technology, but they aren't fascinated by cars or homes, etc. My daughter, she has every right to stay in a very lavish apartment, but she still stays in a hostel in her college. She has learned driving, forgotten it. She doesn't drive a car. She would rather take
The metro
a metro, cab, anything. So very down to earth, extremely down to earth. And we are very, very proud of her and my son both. And so people of the same feather flock together. So is our daughter-in-law.
Wow.
She's also very down to earth, very sharp. All of them are very sharp. I mean, my daughter, it's best you don't get into a discussion with her because her knowledge is deep.
Whoa. I am
She's-
scared.
Yes, she's studied so much in life that she has great knowledge, history, politics, political science, etc. Great knowledge. Son was outstanding in his career. He was a topper when he did his grade 10. His picture was in the newspapers because he topped in the city, and then he went to some of the best colleges, one of the best colleges, economics colleges in India, and then one of the best in the world. He went to London School of Economics.
Wow.
That's where he found his love. Her name is Geeta. Both of them have given us, Chirag and Geeta have given us a lovely grandson, 3-year-old, and his name is Veer. Oh, what a pleasure it is of a different thing in life.
You
together.
are accomplished in every sense of the word.
Touch wood,
Mr. President.
touch wood. It's been a great life, let me tell you. I felt that everything that I needed in life was there, and I'm fortunate for Rotary that it gave me that opportunity to give meaning
back.
to my life.
And also
very
to
frankly.
give back.
Yeah, I've always felt that everyone, millions of people are born and we die. I think each of us has a role to play. I'm fortunate that destiny got me a role where I have been able to do more for others than for myself.
Wow.
I'm blessed, very frankly. I feel I'm blessed, and everybody who gets this opportunity to live for somebody else, do more for others. And for me, it would not have come to me had I got busy with my business. I would have looked after my business, my profits, my sales, my turnover. not the turnover of people's lives, but fortunately Rotary showed me that path. So it's an amazing organization, let me tell you. People may find it to be a fun club. No. At the surface, it is fun in the sense that I joined for fun, let me tell you. I have had great fun. Some of the best friends of my life are in Rotary and because of Rotary. But with them, we moved mountains, absolutely.
Wow.
And it's a great organization to join, provided you are in the middle of it and not at the periphery of it.
I've had several Rotarians on this program, I must admit. All of them have told me, Simon, join Rotary. I don't feel I'm good enough, perhaps, to give service above self. But after sitting with you,
you will become, let me tell you, Simon.
I mean, if
I did not join Rotary for service.
No, can you make a presidential directive? I mean, some of these things come natural with the power, yeah? Just tell me, as president of Rotary, you are now a Rotarian, and I'll take it on from there. Mr. President?
You are, Simon, from now a Rotarian. Let me tell you,
very good.
By the discussions that I've had with you, you are a Rotarian at heart, now just above the heart, wear this pin, and you will be a member of Rotary also.
So I just walk into my favorite Rotary club in this town, and I'm sure they've watched this. It's with the presidential directive, induct me, beat me up, put me in shape, and then I'm a Rotary club member.
And you know, when I asked everyone, each one bring one, I made a promise to myself, I will bring one every month. Okay, I've done one in July, I've done one in August. You are the one for September.
Can't get better than this. How they say thank you in your language?
For everything in India, you can just say a namaste.
Namaste. Here, for the language of where we are, it's webarenyo.
Okay.
Can you repeat after me?
Tell me.
Webarenyo.
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 Webarenyo. You can guess it.
Webarenyo.
As I do, namaste.
Okay, Webarenyo.
To you, our listeners and viewers, namaste. And
Webarenyo.
It's been a pleasure having the president of Rotary on the program, sharing with us his life story, but most importantly, a glimpse into what it means to be born well, to live well, and impart that wellness on others. Mr. President, play your last song to our listeners and we get out of here.
For a man who loves music, I could have given you 100 songs that I love. But on this parting note, let me give you a song that touches my heart a lot nowadays, a very recent number. All those that I give you are old numbers. This is a recent one, which says, Acha chalta hoon, duaon mein yaad rakhna.
Wow.
Which says, goodbye, keep me in your hearts, keep me in your prayers.
Wow, a lovely choice of music. What a way to end the program. Without a doubt, we will never forget you.
Thank you.
Never
And I won't
forget
forget
us.
you, Simon.
Thank you very much.
I love Uganda.
That's what we do. And Uganda loves you too.
Thank you.
Till next time, namaste.
Namaste.
Desert Island Discs. Desert Island Discs.
Like with a piercing look, like you're looking at me right now.
Yes, I would say, you know, when I joined Rotary, and I keep saying this, when I joined Rotary, I never wanted to be the president of my club.
Of your club.
Yeah,
Now
when I became the president, I did not want to become the next governor of the club, of the district.
Of the district.
But when I became the district governor, I did not think I would go down to the board of the district.
Desert Island Discs.